Today, we're talking about something that's in pretty much every Indian kitchen, a simple packet of milk. It's a staple, something we trust completely without a second thought. But what if I told you that trust might be a little misplaced? You know the drill, right? The milkman drops it off, you bring it inside, it's the first step to your morning chai, your coffee, your kids' breakfast. It's just a normal part of the daily routine. But have you ever really stopped to think about what's inside that packet? Past the branding and the familiar look, how safe is the milk we drink every single day? Is it as pure as we're led to believe? Let's get right into the evidence. A group called Trustified decided to put this to the test. They took some of India's biggest milk brands, sent them off to a lab, and honestly, the results were pretty eye-opening. Now, how they did this is really important. This was a blind test. That means the lab had no idea which brand was which, so the results are totally unbiased. They were basically looking for germs, specifically the overall bacteria count and something called coliforms, which is a big red flag for contamination. And here are the results. It's pretty stark. On one side, you've got the products that failed the safety tests: Amul Taza, Amul Gold, Mother Dairy cow milk, and Country Delight cow milk. Notice a pattern? They're all pouch milk. And on the other side, the one product that passed with flying colors, the Amul tetra. So why'd they fail? Let's break it down. For the two Amul pouches, the lab found coliform bacteria above the legal safe limit. For Country Delight, the total amount of bacteria was double what's allowed. But the one that really stands out is Mother Dairy. 8 times. Seriously. Let that sink in. The total bacteria count in the Mother Dairy sample wasn't just a little over the line, it was 8 times higher than the maximum safety limit set by the government. This chart really puts it into perspective. See that small bar on the left? That's the safe limit, 30,000 units. Now look at the bar on the right. That's the Mother Dairy sample at 240,000. It's not even close. We're talking about a massive difference here. Okay, so we're throwing around these sciencey terms like total plate count and coliforms, but what does that stuff actually mean? What are we really talking about when we say the milk is contaminated? Think of the total plate count, or TPC, as a general hygiene score for the milk. It's just a head count of all the living bacteria in the sample. A high number, like what was found here, basically screams that somewhere along the supply chain, from the farm to the package, things just weren't clean enough. Now, coliforms, this is a much bigger red flag. These are bacteria you find in dirt and, well, in poop. The whole point of pasteurization, heating the milk, is to kill these things. So if they show up in the final product, like they did in the Amul samples, it means the milk got contaminated after it was supposed to have been made safe. That's a huge breakdown. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, because it's what I thought too. Okay, this sounds bad, but I always boil my milk, so I'm safe, right? It's what we all do. But is it really the magic fix we think it is? Well, the answer is kind of yes and no. Boiling absolutely helps. It kills a lot of the live bacteria, making the milk safer than if you drink it raw. But, and this is a big but, it's not a magic eraser. For one, it doesn't get rid of everything, and more importantly, it can't destroy any toxins that the bacteria might have already produced. The bottom line, boiling can make bad milk safer, but it cannot turn bad milk into good milk. For a healthy adult, your body might handle it okay. But for the most vulnerable people in our families, it's a whole different story. We're talking about babies, growing kids, pregnant women, and our elders. Their immune systems just aren't as strong, and even low levels of this stuff can cause serious problems. And listen, this isn't just about the few samples in this one test. It points to a much bigger issue. Some data suggests that only about 60% of the commercially sold milk in India actually meets the safety standards, which means a staggering 40% of what's on the market might be unsafe. This really brings us to the core lesson here. And the report said it perfectly. The brand name on the pouch isn't always a shield. We see these names, Amul, Mother Dairy, and we just assume they're safe. They're household names. But these tests show that we can't just rely on trust alone. Okay, that was a lot of heavy information. I know. But the goal here is not to scare you. It's to empower you. So what can you actually do with this knowledge? Let's talk about some simple, practical steps you can take to make safer choices. It really comes down to 3 basic things. 1, maybe prioritize Tetra Paks if you can. 2, If you do use pouch milk, you have to boil it properly. And 3, just stay aware. Know that the brand name isn't always a guarantee. Let's dig into that first step. Based on this investigation, the UHT-traded Tetra Pak was the clear winner. It was the only sample that came back completely sterile, clean as a whistle. That's because of the high heat process and the super sealed packaging. So especially for the most vulnerable members of your family, your kids, your parents, the evidence suggests this is simply the safest option. But look, we all know Tetra Paks are more expensive. So if pouch milk is what works for your family and your budget, then the most important thing is preparation. Don't just warm it up, bring it to a full rolling boil. And once you do, it's best to use it up pretty quickly. So we end up right back where we started with that daily ritual. But now it's not just a routine anymore, is it? It's a conscious decision. Knowing what you know now, your family's health is literally in your hands. So the question is, what choice will you make tomorrow morning?